So Hearthstone Mercenaries has been out for about a week now, and I think a lot of people are constantly wondering to themselves, which comp should I build? What is the best comp for Hearthstone Mercenaries? So I thought I would make a video to kind of guide you in the right direction on what the best comps for Hearthstone Mercenaries are and which ones I think are going to be good for the remaining future until there's some kind of update. Now, this is an evolving metagame, so this list might change, which means you should subscribe so you can stay updated with the best Hearthstone Mercenaries comps. And as always, you look fantastic. I do want to mention right at the start of this video that there is no best Hearthstone Mercenary comp currently. This is not like standard where one deck is just better than the rest of them. This is an evolving meta where things counter, and that's the point of Hearthstone Mercenaries. But there are clearly good comps, and I thought I would showcase those. This is Yellybug's highest MMR currently in all regions for Hearthstone Mercenaries. Now, no Blademasters Samara here, no Xyrella. This is a complete different package, basically revolving around fire, using Antonidas, Baron-Geddon, Ragnaros, Karen, Bloodhoof, the Lich King, and Diablo. Now, based on his strategy, you want to start with Antonidas, Geddon, and Rag, and then follow it up depending on what you need on the certain circumstance and the context of the game. Now, when the general game plan here is basically to use Antonidas, Geddon, and Rag to either kill a fighter or a protector and just kind of ignore the caster in this scenario, because Antonidas will use Fireball to proc Ragnaros's Magma Blast just to get an insane fire combo. And then you can also use Baron-Geddon's Living Bomb and or just Inferno, probably just Inferno because it's going to do fire combo for an absolute insane single target burst on turn one. Now, there is a really good chance if you have leveled all these characters up that you're going to be able to do a one shot on a fighter or protector, which is the general game plan. Now, for Antonidas, I'm just going to double check. He uses the Cinder Core Staff to do more damage on his Fireball. For Baron-Geddon, he uses the Mark of Configuration to make sure that Inferno's combo does more damage. And then for Ragnaros, we use the Blazing Rune to just make fire damage just a little bit stronger for the initial combo. When we come down to Karen, obviously reincarnation is the most important aspect of this. And if you're wondering what Karen's main role is in this, is just to be either A, make your abilities faster or make their abilities slower. You're almost never using ancestral uppercuts, and sometimes you just need a taunt, so Karen's great. Lich King kind of fills the same void. And again, I believe he said that we're using Frostmourne just to make sure that the Frostbite slows down everyone around as long as you can attack the middle mercenary. And then for Diablo, we're just using Magma Horns to make Apocalypse do more damage in case we needed more critical damage to anyone. This is a really cool build. And again, it's pretty straightforward. I'm going to level up all these characters because I'm super excited to try this. But this is the highest MMR build at the moment for Hearthstone Mercenaries. Educated Collins, basically 9,000 MMR, rank 1 Europe mercenary build. This is a very interesting build. You may be wondering, where is Xyrella? Where is Samaro? And that is what makes this build so interesting, is that there's no straightforward strategy here. From his own words, and I will read this straight from the Discord because I did DM him, the game plan is reacting to what your opponent wants to do. It's not the most straightforward strategy. So this is definitely a build for more intermediate to advanced players, because you're not running a straightforward strategy like, let me just kill this minion from the get-go. You have to kind of know how to predict and just guess what your opponent is going to probably want to do. Now, his opener is Vol'jin, Sylvanas, and Cariel, and then followed by on the bench, the Lich King, Natalie, Selene, and Tyrion. For Vol'jin, he is rocking the Ring of Haste because it is extremely good equipment for Vol'jin, makes the whole Shadow comp fantastic. For Sylvanas, he is running the Mournblade equipment to make just Sylvanas more of a threat because you are introducing her right at the beginning. Cariel, he is using the Tattooed Tome of Light, which basically just gives you more attack on your taunt. So you're going to probably be taunting turn one almost guaranteed against a Blademaster Samaro. So getting more attack and stopping Blademaster for being such an issue is a very good idea. Now, the bench is very interesting because it's not a straightforward strategy here. You can either pull out Natalie, Selene if Vol'jin lives to get you a higher shadow composition going. If Cariel dies, then maybe Lich King is the one you want to bring out first so that you have another tank in front of you. And because Frost Shield will no longer be on cooldown, it is very important. Or you just bring out Tyrion to make your Vol'jin stay alive longer, or your protector. This is not a straightforward strategy, and again, I would not recommend this just from the get-go. For your Lich King, you are using the Task 7 one, so the Frostmourne. This just makes his attack AoE, and it's really, really good to just increase the speed of your enemies' abilities, especially if they're used their first one, which can be fantastic. For Natalie Celine, you're using the Eye of the Shadow to make just Shadow Beam do more damage, and that's obviously her AoE as well. And then for Tyrion, you're using the, I believe it is the Blessing of King one here. Yeah, the King's Helm to make your Blessing of King stronger in order to just keep your mercs alive. Again, not a straightforward strategy here, but getting 9,000 MMR is rather insane, and I thought I would showcase it in this video. Now, I know you're thinking it's about time we see some Blademasters tomorrow in Xyrella, so this is one for you. This is from Team America, who hit 8,708 MMR with this build, and the main idea here is using Dawn Grasp with Samaro and Xyrella, and then your bench is Karen, Sourfang, and Diablo. Now, this build is a pretty interesting one. Normally, Samaro and Xyrella makes a whole lot of sense because you use Xyrella to proc the Samaro on the double strike for the first turn. But then you could use Dawn Grab with the Flurry to slow down everyone on the opposing side to make sure you could do it again. And especially if you're going against a enemy Xyrella, this combination can be absolutely devastating for a lot of players, because what do they really do against this? It can be inherently so frustrating to deal with. And that kind of pairs with Diablo, because Diablo likes when everything is slowed down. So if one of your, mercs does die, you pull a Diablo. If Dawn's Grasp is still, I keep saying his name wrong, Dawn's Grasp is still alive. Or if Samara lives, you bring out Sourfang. And if you need Karen to protect maybe the Xyrella or the Varden, you could just play Karen. And Karen's just a really good protector, so it just kind of makes the full composition here. For equipment, obviously, Xyrella is using the Radiant Wand. It's not even a question. For Samaro, I could not tell if he was using the Sash of Illusion or the Burning Blade. I think either or is great, but the Sash of Illusion can be very strong on the second turn because it is even faster than Double Strike in case they mess up your Xyrella combo. And then Varden, I think the Chilling Amulet is what he was using. You could also use Potion of Ice just to make Flurry do more damage, but the Chilling Amulet is extremely strong because of the AoE if they do focus Varden, which, believe me, they want to focus Varden because it's very frustrating. Karen was using Reincarnation. It's just his best equipment by far. Sourfang, even though I don't have it, is using this Charaded Shield because just more stats is just fantastic. And then, of course, Diablo is using the Black Soulstone because you're not going to be putting him out first. You could put Apocalypse if you really feel like it. Both of these will be completely fine. But the general gameplay here is just Samaro, Xyrella doing their thing. This comp can be very, very strong. It can be very brute forced. It looks a lot of fun. I hope you enjoy it. Let's do one more. So this is the build that I have been using. I have been climbing all the way up in top 100 North America with this, and I just want to showcase this build because I think it's so interesting and fun, and it's fantastic. The main idea here is to use Anduin, Velen, and Xyrella as your main openers, and then you follow it up with some kind of nature package. And depending on what the enemy is using, you either bring out Malfurion to deal with a fighter, you either bring out Guff to deal with a protector and or just protect your other units, or you pull Anaconda to deal with a caster. The start here is very simple. You use Xyrella as a Blinding Luminance to just stop a fighter from being a threat for the first round. Usually Xyrella is getting a focus because it kind of counters their game plan. And then you follow it up with Velen on the second turn to use Velen's Blessing to basically proc Anduin's Holy Nova for a double wombo AoE combo. Now, for me, I've been using the Ring of Purity, but I'm actually going to start using the Harmonic Mallet because I'm starting to notice that the extra life is very nice, but dealing an extra 2 damage, and I will obviously upgrade this as I can, for double it can be just enough to kill almost every single mercenary in the game, as long as it's not like a super tanky dude on turn 2. It's very, very good. It's very, very strong. Basically, if Xyrella dies, you're not even scared because your next unit can just protect Anduin and Velen. If Velen dies, you don't really care because Anduin is actually just the best character in this team comp. And then if Anduin dies, again, you're kind of sad, but Xyrella is still alive to just protect you, so you're not really that scared either. For the nature composition, it's very simple. You use Malfurion with the Light Root Staff because it's just very, very strong. It just gives the passive healing to all characters. So on top of the healing you're going to have from Xyrella, Velen, and Anduin, you also have it with the Light Root Staff. Guff the Tough is basically here for the Living Brambles and the proc with Malfurion. If you could get Cenarian Surge out and then play Guff, it's basically just so much damage on a protector. It's ridiculous, but it also does an insane amount of damage against everything, and it's really fast because of what Cenarian Surge does for nature spells. And then Anaconda is basically here for this one ability to just get through protectors and kill a caster, because just one proc of this alone is 40 damage. 40 damage just from that. There's nothing else to say here. She does a great job. Anaconda, we're using the Toxic Venom. Guff, we're using the Totem. Malfurion, we're using the Staff. Xyrella, again, we're using the Radiant Wand. Velen, at the moment, I'm using Tome of Inspiration. I'm still altering this build. I think Potion of Light does have some merit to it, but I do think that Tome of Inspiration is really strong to get that extra healing, because you're going to use this almost guaranteed turn 1. And then again, Anduin, Harmonic Mallet. If this video is helpful, I will try to do these weekly for some awesome, interesting builds. And if you have any awesome builds that you want to showcase, leave them in the description down below. I appreciate it. And again, you look fantastic.